Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through my AFL Fantasy Round 2 review for my team, in which I had a pretty poor round, not gonna lie. 1778 places me 30k or so for the round rank, and dropping to 21,948, so I dropped a good 3,000 or so spots, as a lot of my primos just didn't fire, as I only had, 1-2 scores above that sort of 115 range, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that I consider almost primos or higher end mid prices, all going below 90, and a couple of 60s in there isn't the greatest, I would say. But anyway, and also a couple of players being out didn't help. So anyway, let's just jump into this video. So as you can see with this, here's all the stats there, and yeah, Perryman, that just sucked. That was basically worst case scenario, that McGuinness went down with an ACL, and then he had to basically go into the back line, and now he had a shocker and he went down 41k, so that really sucked. Those that traded him to, basically, if we look at the back line here, there was a lot of guys you could have traded him to that would have worked. If we go to team selected by, let's just look at it, Fraser. He did work by 30 odd points, but in the end, he's probably going to be a guy that you're going to need to trade. So, but you ended up getting 70k of value, or cash generation in a way, as well as 30 odd points. So that would have definitely helped. As what was my cutoff score? 43, 33. So that's, and then another 33 there. So what's the next one? A 62. So yeah, it looks like about 63 was sort of starting on, so the 62 from Jason Horne-Francis even counted there. So yeah, was not a good round. 1, 2, 3, 360s it looks like, in about 1, 2, 3, another 3 or 4 70 scores just didn't help basically. So yeah, this team is not in the greatest spot, but we can obviously fix it up over time with trades, and hope that we can just squeak in, I guess, to a good rank, and that'll be that, I guess, for another year. 2 rounds in and it's already stuffed, but anyway, is what it is. There's still a long time left to come back, and I mean, if you look at it right now, I'm only about 400 points off of the top, 340 points off the top of the top tier, so like, if you think about that, and if you think about even rankings wise, top 100, if we go down here and scroll a little bit further, it starts to get a little bit cramped here, but I'm only 4,096 and I am at 3856. So I'm only, 240 points off of top 100, which isn't too bad at the moment. And so yeah, if I can just have a good round or two, a good bounce back, that is basically just Cherry and Gawn swapping around those two, and Serong and Dawson. And you'll find that that is all that is, as I've stuffed up his name. But yeah, you can even see with Cherry, 90. So that was 23 points there burned, basically. What's Gawn averaging? 95. So there's about 30 points burned there between those two. And Serong's scored 84, whereas Dawson is at, and I don't think these ones have my trades. Yeah, no, these ones don't have my trades. But Dawson's at 130, so that is a good 45 points there. So that's 90. That's 120 points burned from Dawson, Serong, and Cherry and Gawn decision. So yeah, that's basically halfway to the scores in the top 100 for me. And I would be, instead of 21,000, I'd probably be sitting at 8, 7, 6,000, just those two choices alone. So not the end of the world, and if I'd moved on Perryman, then you have another 30 points. So you could think about all that, and suddenly it's just so close, and I could easily have a good round here and jump up a good 15,000 places. Is quite an easy jump to do at this early stage, even with the best 18. So there's that, basically. But anyway, so back to the round that was, and you'll see Short 85, he's not really doing anything, which is probably almost all right at this point. He scored 285s and now has St Kilda, and we'll just see how he goes. But he's a guy that I'm looking at trading out in the next couple of weeks, depending on how he goes, but it is what it is. Matty Roberts, 95, job done for him. He heads into the bye this week and leaves me very, very thin down back. So I'm probably going to have to look at getting a primo down back in this trade in this week, just because Perryman and Day probably have to go, because Day's fighting through the Bedford tag, which last year he did really poorly on. And he's gone 129, 77, 75. So he probably needs to be moved on, as he's just not getting the points needed. And his break even is basically at 83. But then again, 83 break even. Do you just hold through this matchup because it's best 18? It's going to cost you 20, 30 points. Because once he gets out of that, he gets this real good run here. That could be a decision that I'll have to sort of conjure up and see if it is the right decision at the end of the day to make that move there. SDK, we'll see with the Stewart injury what happens down there, but I have a feeling that they have the stocks down there to be able to withhold putting SDK down back, but we'll see what happens, because he did have a pretty good start to the game, but then slowed down dramatically after half time. I'm pretty sure it was on, he might have had a 28-point second half or something, rather than the first half where he went off. Let's just quickly double check with that. But Rowan Marshall definitely did dominate the... he just had a bad last quarter where he had 7 points. If he doesn't have a 7-point last quarter, which if we look at the hit-outs, it was Blicavs doing a lot more of the rucking in the last quarter. I'm not too concerned about that, to be honest with you. SDK also had 74% time on ground in the last quarter. Is that his usual time on ground? Let's just quickly double check that for you guys. SDK had 70 for the game, so not too concerned about that, to be honest with you. The right contest, he still had more compared to that of Blicavs. It was just the last quarter, Blicavs had 11 compared to SDK 6. So it is what it is there. Not too concerned about SDK just yet, until Team List probably stuff it up. Luke Trainer on field over Zach Reed would have just basically been raising the bar for the lower score. It actually had no influence on the scoring in best 18, which is probably a blessing, because that could have got bad, to be honest with you. Yep, Sarong, it sucks, but he's got a clean run now for the next little bit, which is really, really good. So hopefully he can turn it on. 83 in a tag game is a little bit annoying, but it's probably still a good outcome, considering it was a tag game and one of the hardest tags. Rosie, he absolutely dominated, and I was glad to have the VC on him, to be honest with you. He's been absolutely flying to start the year. No Butters has helped him out. And this is the Clayton Oliver that we kind of expected. And 36 touches for him, 5 marks, 2 tackles and a goal. And he ends up with 114. The free kicks against went away, and that's what he did. He did it with less tackles, less non-disposal points, basically. He had an extra 5 handballs and an extra 6 kicks, which is 28 points, which is basically the difference there. But these are the type of games we expect, and I expect him to be back to his best. Nevitt, 80, would have liked to see him get more than, I think, 5 points in the last quarter. But then again, did his job as a rookie, and he's going to make more cash. He has Brisbane this week with an 8 break even. If you look at that and you see 64, even if you just go 60, 60, 60 Nevitt, and I'm just going to show you this on DFS, the price projector for Nevitt, and if we just put in 80s, because I think that is a realistic line for Nevitt. If we go... he's not going to go 92, but if we go 80 here, you'll see he goes 6'11", 6'9", and then 710k. 710k, by the time he gets to that that's round 3, round 4, end of round 5, I believe. Then suddenly, at the end of round 5, these rookies are going to be like Levi Ashcroft. If we just go here, Ashcroft, 79, 79, 79. He's at 630, 635k. By that time, you're almost at the point where you can get Nevitt to a primo midfielder, just like that, alongside Ashcroft, if they're just going 80s and 70s, those two. So, I just think that that's the world in which what's going to happen in round 6 or 7 is that Mitch Nevitt and Ashcroft are probably going to go to primos. Will Day, 75. Yep, I'm just, as I said, wondering whether to go with him or not. O'Sullivan, that really did just suck. Simply put, I didn't want him in my side, to be honest with you. If Jagger Smith didn't have an ACL Finn O'Sullivan was going to be the first guy that they didn't have to have. And yeah, Xavier Lindsay absolutely dominated that sort of wing half-back spot that Foz was contending for, I guess, on the other team. So yeah, those two, just the difference there is quite remarkable. And Lindsay's going to just jump up massively in price. He's gone up 75k this week. He's got a -13 break even. If he does another 71 or 90 score, he's going to go up another 80k, and suddenly the team value is just going to, his value is just going to skyrocket. Ashcroft we talked about. Camporelli is subbed out on a 30. Isn't the greatest, but he still went up 34k. And if he does do 30s for the next couple of weeks or 50s, he's still going to make bulk cash. So there's that. And Hasty DMP is probably not the greatest. And we need to probably find someone to trade him to be honest with you. Max Gawn got mauled in the ruck, but Sherry only went 90, so not too worried about that. More worried Supercoach-wise about the difference there. TDK 107, he did as much as he could, to be honest with you, and now has probably a VC matchup against the Western Bulldogs. And then Harry Boyd didn't play on the weekend, so that sucks for him because he's going to make bulk cash when he does play. He could get a game against... when do they have Richmond? Is Richmond the early game? No, they have Richmond late on in the week. Where is it? On the Saturday. Then they've got... When's their next game? Then they've got the Sunday, and then they're back to probably a Saturday game or another Sunday game, another Sunday game. So they just play Sundays. Do St Kilda for the next foreseeable future. They don't have they don't have a 5-day break or anything for so long. Yeah, they were all 6-dayers or 7-day breaks. So I doubt that Boyd will play, given how Kessler was actually pretty good. So doubt that will happen. Horne-Francis, 62. I don't know why I bothered to start him. He absolutely shocker. Yeah, I just wish I had started McRae and honestly Rankin, who scored, I think, a 70. Which is probably good that he didn't score too well because, yeah, he didn't get away from us. But yeah, those extra 20-odd points... that he's scoring on top of Horne-Francis would have been nice because, yeah, he scored an extra 33 points on Horne-Francis, and the extra 100k could have been spent on other things. McRae, wow, 131 average, number one season rank. He's gone bang bang and is probably also a captaincy material now that he has Richmond this week, as I don't know how they're going to stop him. Had 35 touches, 8 marks, 10 tackles, had a tackle taken away, and he still scored really well. So, yep, will be interesting to see. Rosie dominated against Richmond, and you got a similar caliber player in Jack McRae, who I think he can potentially put on 130 plus against Richmond. So he'll probably be the VC or the captaincy. You'll probably roll a TDK into the likes of a Jack McRae, or you could go Jack McRae and who does Gorney have this week? He's got Wits. That's a horrific matchup. Then who does he have? He's got the Geelong matchup in round 4. He's going to dominate that. And yeah, North start to have some tough matchups. So hopefully Cherry can come back down to earth a little bit, hopefully. And then I had to play Elijah Hewitt just because of the Bailey Smith late scratch. And 53 just sort of held up the back end of the scoring. Riley Sanders, 69. He's just not doing it, is he? 7 tackles and 16 touches. He's all right, but I'm just surprised that they've got their prized asset sort of just hanging out at full forward at one point. They just need to give him time in the middle. He's going to make mistakes. He's a youngster. He's going to make mistakes, but they got to give him time because if they don't, he's going to want out of the club, simply put. And then Caleb Daniel, 114, back to his best, 102 average for the year. And then Davidson, I had to take the 60 at that point, but yeah, and then used the stone loop there. And then Callahan and Bailey Smith, I'll gladly have back in my side next week. But anyway, that is the video there. If you guys did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on. Hopefully I'm able to get through all of the videos needed today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday to catch you guys up. But anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys for the Supercoach team review in another hour or so. Bye guys.